Good afternoon, happy Tuesday. So week 5 of my Chicago Marathon training block. Less than 10 weeks to go now, so 68 days from today, so today's Tuesday. I had a rest day yesterday after my 16-mile run on Sunday, and also I was in London and I was still a bit fatigued, so gave myself the day off. So it's now Tuesday lunchtime. I'm at home today. I'm actually home quite a bit this week because I had a dentist appointment this morning, so worked from home this morning, run now, worked from home this afternoon, and then I might do some strength and conditioning later on, who knows. I've been a bit naughty and not done that for the last few weeks, so I know I need to do it. But yeah, lovely day actually, not too warm, a little bit of wind around, but nice conditions. So session for today is 5 miles, a mile warm up, 3 mile steady, 1 mile cool down. So pace wise, I call my steady pace somewhere sort of in between my easy and my tempo pace. So easy pace is sort of anything from 8 to 8:30 minutes per mile. Tempo anywhere between sort of 6:50 and 7:10, 7:15 per mile. And I'll probably aim to do my steady pace today around about 7 minutes 30 per mile, so about 4:45 per k, I think. Trying to stick to, where possible, sort of high end zone 2, low end zone 3 heart rate. But again, just depends on the undulations, but they're or thereabouts. So I'll be this first mile's all uphill, and it's a warm up really, just get my legs warmed up. So this will be around about a 9:30 minute mile, and then sort of 3 steady and a cool down just to get rid of the lactic. So yeah, should be around about a 40-minute session. So see you in a bit. Okay, so that is the 3 mile steady done. Pretty good. Got a little bit giddy in the middle of 3, around like a 7:02, 7:03 I think, which is encouraging because I was sort of running to feel and sort of running on heart rate, and when I looked down at my watch, I was high end zone 2 and running basically 7-minute miles on the flat bit, so that's great. But wasn't exactly what I was going for today, but never mind. So yeah, encouraging again, felt good, heart rate felt really controlled, a few lumps and bumps obviously where, you know, the RPE or rate of perceived F4 exertion, whichever you want to call it, was a little bit higher, but I still managed to maintain that sort of overall steady pace. So yeah, good Tuesday. Home now, quick shower, meeting this afternoon, and then probably strength and conditioning later on. Let's see. So good evening. It's still Tuesday. I am not doing strength and conditioning, despite, I think I said it twice in the video earlier. I have managed to find another excuse not to do it. So I'm actually down at Tonbridge track. So I'd forgotten, but there is a meet down here tonight, run by Tonbridge Athletic Club, or TAC as they're known, and quite a few of my club mates are running. So there's a few different events. I think there's 100 metres, there's 1500 metres, and I think there's a 3000 metre race as well. But there's quite a few people down here. It's quite a nice evening, it's quite warm, and I just thought it'd be quite nice to get out of the house, come and support these guys. I'm not running, I haven't brought my kit, so no one can tempt me into it. But yeah, it'd be nice to go and see some track running. It's a relatively new thing for our club actually. We haven't done a lot of it, I believe, in the past. I've only been a member for a couple of years, but it's really took off in the last couple of months, I guess. So yeah, off to the track. I'll film a little bit, but no strength and conditioning. I promise I'm going to do it this week though. So I'm just walking back from the track now. So I watched 100 metres and the 1500 metres. Most of the heats, unfortunately, I had to leave before the last one, which was quite a stacked field by the looks of things. Had some pretty quick runners in there. I think James Kingston was due to be in the last heat, he ran the British champs against Josh Kerr at the weekend in the 5000 metres. So yeah, it was a quick old field in that last heat. And I also saw Clare Elms break the V60 World Record, I think, which was pretty impressive. So yeah, all in all, quite a decent evening out. So, but I'm just going to head back to the car now because I need to get back. But yeah, it was nice to support my Harrier friends. I saw quite a few people, and a few of them won the races as well, so even better. Right, see you later. Good afternoon, happy Wednesday. So I'm just out for a little lunch run at the moment, so I'm working from home again today. Just been one of those mornings, to be honest. This is really well needed. Just need to get out, blow off some steam, and just, yeah, try and get a bit more energy and a bit more context, I guess, for this afternoon. But yeah, plan is to just do 6 miles or 10k, very easy pace. So I think I'm going to be aiming for pretty, like I said, between probably 8:30 and 9-minute miles, so really easy shakeout. So 55 minutes ish, just get the legs ticking over. It's a beautiful day actually. It's really warm in the sunshine again. It looks like we're going to have some nice weather again over the next week or so, which is good. So yeah, as I said, plan is hills tomorrow, probably some short sharp hills, marathon pace Friday. I think we're going to go down to Hastings parkrun on Saturday, and I'm going to go down with Luke, who his aim is to try and break sub 20 by the end of August. So that is his 1 year parkrun anniversary, I believe. So we're going to go down Saturday and give it a good go, and probably, so I think he's going to try and do sort of 2020, 2030 this Saturday, just to make sure he's sort of, he thinks he's in that sort of shape. So that'll be a good barometer. I don't know whether I'll be pacing him yet or whether I'll try and attack it myself, but we'll see. And then yeah, I'm going to try and do 18 miles or thereabouts this Sunday. So that's the plan for the week. Should get me up to 47, 48 miles. But yeah, as for now, this run is just all about getting out, getting some fresh air, forgetting about this morning, and trying to move on with the rest of the day. So I'm just in Denolham Park, just having a gentle shakeout, basically sort of on the parkrun course there or thereabouts. You can see the sort of route and the big hill, which I'm going to have to go to shortly in the distance. Also, I went to the track meet last night, which was good fun, and I was right in what I said. James Kingston, who is the I think he was national cross country champion a couple of years ago actually, but he won the 1500 metres, the final heat. So yeah, I think he won by 4 or 5 seconds in the end, but there was another guy from our club who came fourth who did really well. I think that was a PB for him as well. So yeah, strong work. I think I will do track at some point, but I think it's probably, I'd like to get my marathon training out of the way. But then, to be fair, as soon as that's out of the way, it's then it's cross country season, so maybe it'll have to be next year now, but we'll see. But it did look like it was good fun, something that I'd like to do in the future. But as I said, maybe not when I'm trying to run 26 miles. But anyway, here we go. We're just going down to the lake. Beautiful, what a beautiful day. And you guess, no matter how this morning's gone, you've got to be appreciative of being able to get out and things like this. So there we go, that is almost the end of the run done now. Just going back into the estate, so I think I'll probably end up rounding it up and trying to do an hour easy. So based on the pace I'm doing, that might not even be 7 miles, to be fair. It might be sort of 6.5, like I've been doing around about 9-minute miles. So yeah, a very, very easy run today. But needed, as I said, good to get out. And then at least I've sort of got my bits done. And then I think Claire and I are going to go for a walk this evening round to down to one of the lakes in Tonbridge and take Ted. Just have a nice evening when whilst the sun is shining. And then hills tomorrow. So it is what it is. Right, let's get back. Let's get this run finished and move on. It is Thursday evening, and I am just about to go and do a hill session with Ian. So I think we'll probably do fairly steep, sort of short, steep hills tonight. So I'm thinking 10 by, I think, about 100 metres. Haven't actually done it at this particular spot before, so we'll have to see how it goes. And then probably an early start tomorrow to do a session before I go to London. But yeah, hills tonight, steep, short, sharp. Let's get it done. Right, so that is hill reps done. We did 10 by around about 125 metres, I think. So it's just basically just the length of the hill. It's a fairly steep gradient. I don't know what the percentage is, but I'm sure I'll be able to find out when I log this run. But much steeper than the hill reps that we've been doing previously. So it's myself and Ian. I was running around about between 345 and 350 per k up the hill, with a bit of an effort on the last one. But yeah, all in all, good session, and now a little cool down back. So Claire's out for the evening. She's gone to the theatre to watch Clueless with her sister and her niece. So I'm home alone. I've been craving a pizza for weeks. I don't usually eat sort of badly, like I do generally eat pretty well. But yeah, I was just craving pizza. So I've been a bit naughty and have put some additional chicken and sweet corn on. Don't come at me for that. Extra chicken for protein, and the sweet corn just to put a bit, some sort of vegetable on there. But yeah, looking forward to this. Hopefully it's good. Hello, happy Friday. So I am just out at lunch today actually, so a little bit of a change of plan. So I was meant to be in London today, but we've had various things going on this week, so a bit of a change of plan. So I'm at home, and I am just out for a lunch run. So yeah, I'm gonna do my marathon pace session today. So do 1 mile warm up, which I'm doing now, and then 6 miles or 10k ish marathon pace, and then mile cool down. So about 8 miles in total is the plan. Around about an hour, and then back to work this afternoon. So yeah, Claire has just taken Ted to have a groom, because I don't know if you've seen in some of the clips and videos that I've posted recently, but he's quite shaggy at the moment, and particularly on his eyes, can't really see anything, the poor little fella. So yeah, so he's off for a groom. When he'll come back looking like he's been scalped, but hey ho, yeah. So picking up this afternoon, and then we're into the weekend. So yeah, Hastings parkrun tomorrow morning. So I think Claire and Ted are going to come down for that as well. And then long run Sunday. Other than that, no major plans this weekend. Probably just have a reasonably chilled one. Do some coaching course stuff because I've got my assessment in a couple of weeks. And that's it. Right, so crack on. Finish this little warm up and then 6 miles at marathon pace, which is around about 6:45 to 6:50 per mile. See you in a bit. Ooh, right, so that is the 6 miles at marathon pace complete. It actually ended up being a bit quicker than marathon pace, to be honest, because yeah, I'm not very good at kind of adjusting my pace for the elevation, and so I actually tend to give it some beans up the drags and end up going way ahead of marathon pace and then slow myself down. So that's definitely something that I need to work on, because I think I averaged about 6:40 per mile for those 6, and it felt a lot harder than last week, but then I was probably doing 10 seconds a mile quicker than last week, so it's bound to feel harder. I haven't improved that much in a week, and yeah, my heart rate did definitely get up into zone 4 on that one again, whereas last week it was definitely more sort of top end zone 2, zone 3, so a bit of a spike. But yeah, so it felt a little bit more difficult than I would have liked, but I think part of that's my own fault, so hey ho, it's done. So I'm just doing a cool down back home now, and then working this afternoon. Right, bye. Good morning and happy Saturday. So we are down at Hastings, so we're doing Hastings parkrun this morning, and with Luke, Ray, Claire and Ted, so we're all doing it. So I think my plan this morning is I'm going to run 20:30-ish, which will be essentially pacing Luke, and I think Ray might try and sort of keep with us as well, so it depends how he's feeling. He hasn't run for a little while. It's a nice morning, bit of cloud cover, fairly warm actually, so I think it's going to feel like about 19 degrees, but no wind to speak of, which is always one of the dangers of doing one of these coastal park runs, is if you've got headwind one way, it can make it very tricky, but conditions feel pretty good. So yeah, 20:30, the aim is for it to feel hopefully fairly comfortable, so I'm aiming for sort of zone 3, maybe low end of zone 4, but I don't really want to get my heart rate too spiked. It's nice and flat, so yeah, let's wait and see. So that was interesting. I just took quite a bit of a tumble. I was trying to get my GoPro out of my pocket, obviously just wasn't quite looking where my feet were, and ended up absolutely stacking it on the promenade. Cut my hand, cut my elbow, cut my knee. Not great, so I'm running back to the start to see if I can get some wipes and some plasters. An eventful start to the day. What an idiot. So that's first mile done in 6:28, so pretty much bob on. Feels comfortable so far. Heart rate sort of mid zone 3, which is good. Might be a little bit elevated from the adrenaline from my little trip, but I have got a plaster on it and I got cleaned up, so thank you, Marshall. So yeah, 2 miles to go. Hi mate. Thanks, Marshall. Right, let's see if we can get Luke and Ray on the way back. Go on, Lukey, go on. Thanks, Marshall. So we did about 6:15 then, so just need to ease up a little bit. Thanks, Marshall. 6:15 is sub 20 pace, and that's not what I'm going for. So just about that. Here's the legend, it's Mark Taylor. Cheers, Mark. on, Ray, kick, big PVs on, go on, kick. So I've just gone for a little cool down. I saw Ray finish, I haven't seen Luke finish, so I'm not entirely sure where he is, whether he finished close behind me or not. I didn't see it, but he definitely should have finished by now. Maybe I just missed that. There they are, the dream team. Ted's had a haircut, as you can see. So we are back from Hastings parkrun. We got back about 12:30. It's about 1:30 now here, so we're back a little bit. And I am sat here with an ice pack on my knee, which is not ideal. But I did take a bit of a tumble in the warm-up, like I said. Cut my arm, so I've got plaster on that. Cut my hand, cut my other knee, and then it's just stiffened my other knee. My right knee's just stiffened up. I could feel it a little bit in the actual parkrun itself, but it's sort of stiffened up subsequently. So I got some ice on it. Yeah, it could have been a lot worse actually. I took a real tumble, but I managed to kind of roll it out and sort of styled it out. There was a nice lady with a couple of dogs walking past that asked if I was all right, but I was a little bit embarrassed, to be honest. So I just carried on and sort of shook it off. But yeah, it could have been worse. But yeah, I am feeling a little bit sore. Parkrun, I ended up doing a minute quicker than I planned. So I did the first mile bang on pace, sort of, I think it was 6:28, and I said I wanted to be at 6:30. But I realised quite quickly that sort of Luke wasn't with me, and so just sort of eased up through the gears. And I think at the end you can see me doing my cool down and wondering where it was. Well, it transpired that he'd got some Achilles problems, so about halfway he just backed off totally, because he was feeling quite a lot of soreness, which was the sensible thing to do, because the last thing you want to do is do anything major to your Achilles. So that's why he wasn't there, but he was fine. Yeah, he had a bit of soreness at the end. We jogged it in with him, which I didn't film, and then we went for a coffee and a nice breakfast at a cafe called the Pelican in Hastings. So the portions were massive, but yeah, it was really nice, really sunny morning, nice and warm. Like I said, finished with a 19:30, raided a 20:48. He was aiming under 21, so it was great. And Claire and Ted just had a nice poodle round. So all in all, a decent morning. I'm just hoping that the knee soreness is just nothing too sinister, and I've just bashed it and it'll be fine for my long run in the morning. But moral of the story is, don't try and do too many things at once, because I was concentrating on getting my GoPro out of my pocket and not concentrating on where I was putting my feet. So bit of a muppet, but hey ho, hopefully, like I said, no lasting damage, just a little bit of a dent to the pride. I did forget to say actually as well, a big thank you to the parkrun run director, and I think it was the volunteer coordinator at Hastings parkrun. I obviously went beforehand when I'd just fallen over to kind of get some antiseptic wipes and get some plasters, and they were really, really helpful, like sorted me all out. And then at the end again, so I bled quite a bit, particularly on my elbow. I needed to replace the plasters, and they were brilliant. And yeah, except they, nothing too difficult for them. But yeah, it was still nice. They were very, very sympathetic, despite the fact that it was me being an idiot. And that is one of the great things about parkrun. So yeah, thank you to the all the volunteers at Hastings parkrun this morning. Good morning, happy Sunday. So I have just arrived at the meeting point for long run with the Harriers gang. So we're going to be doing 18 miles. Well, I'm going to be doing 18 miles. I think we'll probably do something similar to last week, where there'll be a few groups doing various distances. But it is a beautiful day. Probably a little bit too warm. So actually, I've brought extra water. So I'm actually wearing a pack today, and I don't usually. But last weekend I ended up running out of water and had to stop at a shop. So I've come with additional this week to try and ensure that doesn't happen. Yeah, so as I said, 18 miles, it'll be fairly steady. Knowing the routes around here, there's going to be some hills. I'm not in charge of the route today. So I am at the mercy of probably Ali, who will be doing the route. And yeah, as I said, I think it's going to be a warm one. I've seen quite a few runners out already. It's just coming up to 9 o'clock. So this will take us probably in the realms of
2.5 hours-ish at a fairly steady pace. And yeah, and then go and enjoy the rest of the day. Knee feels okay after I bashed it yesterday. It feels all right this morning. My cuts and bruises are still there, but again, they're a bit stingy, but life goes on. So, all right, I'll see you later on.
About 4.5 miles into the run. Nice easy pace. Lovely day, a bit warm, but we've just been through like a wooded shaded area and now just climbing up quite a steep hill, so still quite a long way to go. So, I am almost 14 miles in now, and I'm actually running on my own. So, ended up doing 12 miles with the gang, and then we went back to kind of the starting point. They all went for coffee. I knew that if I stopped at 12 for a coffee, it was very unlikely I was going to get going again. So, I've just carried on. I went and dropped my hydration vest off of the car and swapped and put the remaining water in my shorts. But yeah, so I'm going to try and do another 4 miles now, fairly flat. I've picked as flat a route as I can to do it because I am a little weary. It was quite a hilly route, so yeah, but I just said if I'd have stopped at 12 for a coffee, that'd have been game over, and I would have been disappointed in myself if I hadn't done almost, well, yeah, it's close to the full 18 as I would have liked. Anyway, onwards. So we're now 15.6 miles, so 2 and a bit to go. Yeah, legs are starting to feel a little heavy now, as expected, but it's the home straight, so to speak, so just double back on myself. Yeah, about 2.5-ish miles back. Just going to take it nice and easy. It's more about time on feet today and pace, so yeah, but it's getting warm as well. Not quite Cyprus warm, but warm enough. Woof. 18 miles done. That last 6 were a real struggle doing that on my own in the heat and with some fairly fatigued legs. I had a couple of sort of hard sessions. Hills Thursday, marathon effort Friday, and then a slightly harder parkrun than I would have liked yesterday. So I could definitely feel all that in the legs today, but I got 18 miles done, so I'm really pleased with that. And yeah, so time on feet, took us a bit longer than I thought actually, because the first sort of 12 with the gang were a bit slower because of the gradient. Yeah, it was again quite a hilly route, which is fine. I don't mind doing hills. It's not, you know, I know Chicago's a flat course, but like it's builds the strength up, which is not a problem. So yeah, so right now I am going to go home and see Ted the dog, because he will have been on his own for a little bit because Claire went out to yoga this morning and then she was going out for brunch with her cousin. So he'll have been on his own for, like I said, 3 hours or so. So I'll get back and I'm sure he'll be delighted to see me. Hello, Ted the dog. Hello, mate. Hello? 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 You okay? You okay?
And then a fairly chilled afternoon, I think. Maybe a bit of gardening. And then we've got Claire's mum and sister over for a roast later on. So busy. Right.
Afternoon, everyone. So I have just got back from my Sunday long run. So the 18 miles. So I did 12 with the gang, 6 on my own. I think I talked about it at the end of the run in the car. So that brought me to 49 miles for the week, which is pretty much exactly where I want to be. I think I said sort of 47, 48, but I ended up doing a slightly longer cool down yesterday. So 49, so it's another sort of jump of sort of 5-6 miles week on week, which is good. So we're really getting up to kind of the mileage that I was wanting to get up to at the start of the block, with another hopeful jump next week, although next weekend we are actually up north seeing my family, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to fit the long run in or what we're going to do next week, so I'm going to have to think about that this afternoon. But yeah, another good week. I obviously had the hill session on Thursday. I had the marathon pace session Friday morning. Hastings yesterday, which was good, around 19:30. Fairly comfortably. Towards the end, my heart rate got up, but I think there was there was definitely more in the tank for the first sort of mile and a half, 2 miles. So yeah, that was encouraging. 9 weeks to go to Chicago, which is great. So I am definitely getting there. My Strava prediction has come down. We're not at 3 hours yet. We're at 3 hours and 55 seconds. So it's still trending in the right direction, which is nice. Week ahead, I am in London quite a lot this week, so I'm going to have to kind of be quite disciplined in terms of planning my running. So rest day tomorrow. I think my legs will be pretty tired. Like I said, I've fatigued them quite a lot over the last sort of 4 days in particular. So rest day tomorrow. Tuesday, I'm going to go down and do the intervals with the club. I haven't done that for a while. I used to do that religiously, but with sort of some of the coaching, I've been doing a lot on Thursday. But I'm going to go down and do some filming on Tuesday night with the guys at the club, and then I'll just have to fit sort of other runs in around kind of work and things this week, with a view to obviously the long run maybe doing Sunday afternoon when we get back from seeing my family next weekend. But yeah, so that's week ahead. 9 weeks to go, all on track for now, feeling good. Fitness is getting there, mileage is getting there. No real niggles, obviously, other than, you know, a slightly sore knee from when I fell over yesterday, but that's my own fault and I'm not too worried about that. Onwards and upwards, and yeah, let's continue the momentum.